All right, let's keep going with the unit conversions, but now we're going to talk about the conversion that's most important, and the concentration that we use the most is in moles per litre. So when we're talking about how much solute we have, we're talking about that in moles. When we're talking about how much solvent, we're going to use the standard volume, which is litres. Let's just use the same problem we've been using, and let's convert this 16 grams per litre that we calculated before into moles per litre. So we'll start up here. Now, there's a slightly different way I'd like to do this. There's a couple of ways you can go about this, and I'll try and do both, but let's have a look at this way first so we can talk about the units. If I have 16 grams per litre, and I'd like to end up with an answer in some sort of number, and with the units being moles per litre, let's just consider for a second that just the units, not the numbers. If I want grams per litre to turn into moles per litre, well, I want to keep the litres, so I don't want to do anything with them, but what I need to introduce is moles. We don't have moles here, so I'd like to introduce that up here, and I'd actually like to get rid of grams. If we multiply grams per litre by moles per gram, what's going to end up happening is the grams are going to cancel, and you end up with moles per litre, and this is a nice little situation to look at this with. Now, there's nothing that exists really in moles per gram, but what we can get is something in grams per mole, okay, which is our molar mass. Okay, so we can actually have a look at it like this: 16 grams per litre. Instead of multiplying by moles per gram, that's the same as dividing by grams per mole, dividing by the inverse. Okay, so we divide by the molar mass, and we're going to get an answer in moles per litre. Grams divided by grams cancel. If you divide by inverse moles, you get moles. So let's have a look at that now. Let's do it on our calculator. But we need to know the molar mass of sodium chloride first. So we have 16 grams per litre. We're going to divide this by sodium is 22.99 and chlorine is 35.45 grams per mole. Okay, we can write them like this if we want as well. These are the same things: grams per litre, grams per mole. We're dividing, grams and grams cancel, and we end up with an answer of, let's just put this into the calculator, 16 divided by bracket 22.99 plus 35.45. And we end up with 0.2737850,787 moles per litre. Okay, so these are equivalent units here. Now, in the first case, I gave you two significant figures from the 16, so if we were to use those, we'd say 0.27 moles per litre. That's one way of doing it. There's another way of doing it where we can do this, and you'll see that it's essentially the same thing. If I start out with 16 grams in a litre, we can look at it like this, and I say, okay, I'd like to turn grams into moles. Well, I can do that too. We want to keep the litres, but let's turn this into moles. Okay, if I want this to be moles per litre, turning grams into moles is pretty simple. We know from before, we have this formula N equals mass on molar mass, okay? That uses the mass and the molar mass, so it once again tells us to divide by the molar mass just like we did before to go from a mass to a number of moles. So let's do the same thing. We're going to divide by molar mass. Once again, you end up with 16 grams divided by 22.99 plus 35.45 grams per mole, right? And then you're dividing on liters by liters on the other side anyway. So grams divided by grams cancels. Okay, you end up with dividing by inverse moles, you get moles. Once again, you get 0.27. Again, I'll just keep it short this time. This time moles per litre. There's two different ways you can look at it. So you can convert the number of grams into a number of moles first, and then you can convert here. Now, we didn't have to convert the litres because they're already in litres. If it was, say, grams per 100 mils, you might need to do that conversion as well. But there's two different ways of looking at that.